What is going on, Cowboys Nation? After a long week of being a Cowboys fan, it's finally time that we get ready and start to talk about and prepare for the New York Giants. So, I'm going to be quite honest with you guys from the get-go as we go and get started. This isn't going to be easy necessarily. The Giants lack talent, but they're not a bad team. And to be quite honest, their defense might not have the star power our defense has, but they're playing better defensively than we are, and it just comes down to that. They're pretty well coached on the defensive end of the football, in my opinion, and it's not going to be an easy game. It's nothing that's just going to be handed to us. Don't think of this as like a bye week, which I'm sure Cowboys fans don't for the most part because we've seen how bad our team is right now, but it is a very winnable game at the same time, because the Giants don't offer a ton of threats against the Cowboys defense. Now, I want to point out that this is obviously Jason Garrett's return to Dallas. It's a big deal as offensive coordinator, his first year with the New York Giants. And to be honest, he doesn't have a ton to work with. Saquon Barkley is clearly the best, most talented player on the team, and he's out for the year. I think he got injured week 2 towards ACL. It sucked to see, but it is what it is. And they picked up Devontae Freeman, former Atlanta Falcon, and they've struggled to run the ball. Now, last week against the Rams, they were able to muster some decent runs. I think Wayne Gallman had a few decent runs. He might have gotten like 40 yards. Freeman had like 11 rushes for like 30-something yards. And the crazy thing is Daniel Jones has actually been their best rusher as a quarterback. He's got like 150 yards on the season, but Daniel Jones is a pretty decent athlete. You know, I'm from the Carolinas, or I grew up in the Carolinas, I should say. I've seen this guy play in college some at Duke University, and he's not a bad player. He's very athletic, big, strong guy. I don't think he's a horrible decision maker. I know he's struggling this year, and he struggled some in the NFL thus far, but I think he does bring some things to the table. Now, you got to put some weapons around him. Like I just said, obviously the running game is not that great, and his receivers aren't much better anyways. Sterling Shepard, in my opinion, is a really good number 2, but he's their best receiver. Darius Slayton's another guy, 6'3", he's fast. He's another really good number 2, but he's pretty much, those are both kind of their number 1, number 2 options. I don't know what side they line up on. But then they got Golden Tate, who has always been a really good slot receiver, but he's 32 years old. He's on the backside of his career and just doesn't have a ton of talent around him. Evan Ingram's a really good tight end, one of the better tight ends in the NFL, but they just haven't been able to use him effectively yet this season. Let me talk a little bit about how historically bad that Giants offense is. I think week 1 against the Steelers, to their credit, Daniel Jones had 2 touchdowns. But he hasn't had a touchdown since in 3 weeks. Dion Lewis, week 2, had a touchdown. They haven't had a rushing touchdown since. Last 2 games, they have 9 points, and I believe it's all off of field goals. So we're not playing a high-powered offense, and this may be the worst offense in the NFL right now. They don't have that quarterback like Deshaun Watson that even Houston has. And I don't know if their offense is as good as the New York Jets. I would say both teams are pretty bad and struggle offensively. Maybe the Jets don't have a weapon like Evan Ingram, but still. So Jason Garrett hasn't really had much of an opportunity to show much. I can't really rate him. And I'm not going to give head coaching a hard time because, like I said, their defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, has kind of impressed me for putting out just an average product on defense with probably below average talent, I would say. They have a lot of role players. They severely lack star power on both sides of the football. Wouldn't you love to be able to say that Mike Nolan's put out an average product on defense? I mean, that'd be great right now. I mean, if you're looking at the passing yards and the rushing yards we've given up, it's worlds worse than the Giants' defense. At the same time, we are the best offense, in my opinion, that the Giants have faced so far this year. They struggled a little with the San Francisco 49ers in the passing game. Nick Mullins had a big game, and he's their backup quarterback. So that's kind of promising from a Cowboys fan's perspective. And Jared Goff didn't do too much, but he didn't turn the ball over. He won the game. So I would count that as a plus for the Rams offense. Although the Rams offense definitely looked a lot better against us than it looked last week in New York. So it's just, we've kind of come at a crossroads where we really don't know what to expect until we see it. We know our defense is bad, and we know the Giants' offense is bad, but we don't know how bad is our defense compared to our offense. That's what we're going to find out on Sunday. And I'm telling you right now, the Giants do an okay job, just considering what kind of team they are and the lack of weapons they have at protecting the ball. They turn over the ball about 2 times a game. If we lose the turnover battle, if we turn over the ball more than once and we don't force any turnovers, then I'm definitely concerned that we may not win this game. And when I say they're doing a good job at protecting the ball, they're averaging 2 turnovers a game, but at the same time, they played some really good defenses. They played the 49ers. They played the Steelers week 1. They played the Chicago Bears week 2. They played the Rams defense last week. So, I mean, they're not playing scrubs out there. This is obviously the worst defense they've played yet. They have, I believe, 4 turnovers defensively. They've gotten 4 turnovers their way this year. We've gotten 2. So I think with less talent, they're definitely doing a little more. Now, at the same time, they're not winning games either. And we at least got that 1 win against Atlanta. They haven't gotten a single win this year. So I do have a little bit of confidence going into this game. But I would think most Cowboys fans, including myself, if we do look impressive defensively, aren't going to be like super stoked moving forward. I think it's something we should expect against a team like the Giants. I think what would be really scary is if we don't look good defensively against them, and it could end up costing Mike Nolan his job. So it's going to be really interesting. When I said they have a lot of decent role players, I'll bring up my point on defense. The safeties are like Jabril Peppers. I'm trying hard to think about the guy on the other side. They have like Julian Love. I think Peppers is just coming back from injury. He's been kind of off and on in practice this week. On the defensive line, Dexter Lawrence, good college player at Clemson. Defensive tackle is Dalvin Tomlinson. And they have, who's the other guy from, used to play for the Jets on the left side? It's Leonard, is it Leonard Williams, I think? So, they don't lack NFL players, but they don't have stars. I mean, they don't have Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald, McKinley on the Falcons, guys that we've really kind of struggled with this year. Jamal Adams on the Seattle Seahawks. So they don't have any stud defensive players that pretty much every team we face this year does have. So I do feel somewhat confident about this game. It'll be interesting to see how Jason Garrett's offense looks against our Cowboys team. We know everything we need to know about Jason Garrett, right? So if we look bad against Jason Garrett, then guys, this is going to suck. I have a couple things on my phone here in front of me. Just want to point out. So Steelers game was probably the best well-rounded offensive performance against the Giants defense. We had Big Ben. He didn't throw the ball too many times, 32 times, 229 yards, but 3 touchdowns. So he was super efficient, and they were able to run the ball really well. Benny Snell had 19 carries for 113 yards. So this is a game where Zeke has to step up and do his thing as well. And if he does, then I think we have a decent chance of winning. It really comes down to the line of scrimmage, and the Giants aren't great on either side of the line of scrimmage. They're average defensively, which is better than us, but they're below average offensively. They have a really good right guard. They're getting better on that left side of the offensive line, but they got a couple holes, center, right tackle, where we really need to attack them. This is a game where I could see Aldon Smith stepping up again and having a big game because they don't have anybody tackle-wise that can really block him. So, guys, do me a favor. Let me know in the comments what you think the final score of this game is going to be. You know, it's very tough for me to predict. The over-under, I think, is like 55 points. I think that's like the point spread line. I'm taking the over because we give up a lot of points defensively, even though we're not playing a great team. And we do score a lot of points, and I don't see what the Giants are going to really do to keep us from scoring, barring turnovers. And I'd like to think that it's so bad right now, we know we need to get some of that cleaned up. But you know, who knows until it happens, right? So one thing I'm really looking for is, one, can we protect the ball? And two, do people know their assignments on defense? Last week, obviously they didn't, and it crushed us. If that happens again, it's going to be a long day. But if we could just make things simple and guys just know their assignments, I believe we're getting Anthony Brown back from the IR, and we need help in the secondary desperately, especially now that we we released Brandon Carr. So it definitely helps that Anthony Brown's back, and I really would like to see us get a turnover. I don't think the Giants have gone a game this year yet without turning the ball over. But that's pretty much going to do it for today, guys. Go Cowboys. Hopefully we come off a big win heading into next week, and we have something a little bit to look forward to, because we know right now team's not very good. Even if we win against the Giants, we still know the team's not great. This game reminds me a little bit of that Jets game last year, where they didn't have a ton to offer, but they still found out a way to win the game, and really we found out a way to lose the game. The difference is we had all the momentum heading into that game last year. We were like 3-0, I think. This year, we know we suck, and it's only uphill from here. It can only get better. But that's going to do it for today, guys. I'm out. Peace!